All right. It's time for another Music Talk 101 13, y'all. I know it's been a while. I'm going to try to make that time up to you by getting into the essential tools needed to do tracks. So let's just let this jam out just a little bit more. And you know how we do it, we do that countdown so we can get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, my name is Marcellus and this is Music Talk 101 13. Sorry for the long delay between shows. I think it's been about 2 to 2.5 months, or even longer, since I've done a Music Talk 101 show. Today, we're going to talk about what it takes to create tracks, what are the essential tools needed. Every now and then, I run into people, or they come over to my shop and they ask me, they say, what are you doing? How are you getting that sound? How are you getting that layered piano sound? How are you writing those tracks? What are you using for your beats? What are you using for your sound card? And things of that nature. And believe it or not, since my last show, I'm almost sure it's been at least 2.5 months, but I think I've written at least 30 songs since then. You gotta remember, I love music, and I have that addictive personality when it comes to let me say obsessive personality when it comes to things that I enjoy doing. I enjoy two things, as everyone knows. I love music and I love computers, and I love the way both of them tie together. I am an IT geek and I'm an audio geek. I love those things. You got to remember, I've been doing music and working with toys since, I'm just going to go back to school, high school. I started recording in 1978. And I started using the computer to record with the 88, 89. Even though I used computers prior to that, but that's when I started doing music. A little history about me. I'm a keyboard player. Play a little drums, but keyboards is my instrument. I try to play bass sometimes, but I've been playing keyboards since 1977, 1978. I've had a studio since 1980. I've had a recording studio. And all those years in between, I accumulated a lot of years of experience. So when people come to me and they like what I do, or they want to know what I do, that makes me feel real good on the inside. And also it makes me, or it helps me to see that all those years have paid off. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm a excellent songwriter. I've never generated a hit, and I don't know if maybe my music is good enough. I think it is, or maybe I'm not in the right place at the right time. But I get lots of compliments on my music on YouTube. I have about 253 songs on YouTube, and believe it or not, I just put those songs out there in the last 2 to 3 years. 250. If you go to YouTube, search for Marcellus Green, you'll find my music. So let's talk about how do we make this groove. So, what is it that you need, or what's essential to production? Now, keep in mind, we're talking about audio. We'll do another session on video later. There's two things you need that really can make or break what you're trying to do. You're going to need a good running computer. Now, I used to didn't like Intel processors, but I've noticed in the last 10 years or so that a lot of these music apps, the coding or the clock is geared, the internal clock for some of this hardware is geared for Intel processors. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that the timing and the signature of the internal clock on the processor, it works better for me with Intel, especially if you're doing Pro Tools. Sonar, it'll work well with with AMD and a couple of other music apps, but um, let's just say, let's save you a lot of headache because I'm not pushing Intel, but let's save you some headache. Let's say for this lesson we're gonna use Intel, and your computer has to be configured right. Now, I build and design computers because again, I am some of my credentials are I'm a computer engineer, I'm an audio engineer, I'm a sound engineer, I'm a software specialist, I'm a hardware specialist, um, videographer. I do mastering, and I do everything in house. My company is called Detail Solutions Computers and Audio at www.detailsolutionscomputers.com. Phone number is 618-709-6763. Again, I'm Marcellus Green. I'm the owner and chief engineer. Now, I'm going to suggest or recommend the computer that you use for music. Just use it for your music, or just use it for music in your video production. You don't want kids playing on this computer. You don't want to be going to sites with all this free software, because those sites are heavily they're virus and malware infected, and you don't want your computer that you're doing production with to have any glitches. And again, I'm not saying don't go online, but you just don't want to use it as your everyday computer. My i5 processor is what I recommended or higher. But if you hang with me, I have a couple of dual core Intel systems. I have a couple of Pentium Gold and Pentium systems that run Pro Tools. I have it configured, and believe it or not, I could run over 40, 50 tracks on those if I wanted to. So, but let's just say in the modern era with Windows 10, let's stay with at least a Intel i5. Now, if you're going to be doing the newer Pro Tools, they recommend an i7, and they recommend I think it's 16 gig of RAM. But believe me, you don't need all that. Now, listen to what I'm saying. You don't even need Avid hardware, because these programs, some of these programs these days, they work with any type of hardware. That hardware I'm talking about is the second thing I push, and that's the sound card. Or in the music industry, it's known as an audio interface. And audio cards and audio interfaces, they work with any program. Any one of them will work if it's a decent card. And this is an audio interface or a sound card. I call it a sound card right here. This is one by MAudio. Now, you know why I like MAudio, and some people say, that's an MAudio. Well, I have tested at least 15 audio cards, from $30 sound card to a $4,000 sound card. And I'm telling you, if you're not doing anything, any high end production, this is a nice sound card. And they have an 8x8 sound card as well. And I mean, you can record 8 simultaneous people at the same time. But MAudio sound cards work with anything, any software. And I'm telling you, the clarity, the fullness, the depth is there. I love these sound cards. This card right here costs about This is the M Track 2x2, and I believe it sells for like 139. But it's really a nice card. It has the LED meters on it too. Now they have the MAudio Air, but again, I have at least 7 or 8 systems I use to do music and sound production, and I have a Task M1608. I have a two Focusrite with 16 in, 16 out that you can expand to get up to 48 tracks on each through what's called fiber optics through ADAT optics or pipelining. We call that pipelining, and you can expand those cards. But those are kind of expensive. I think I paid like maybe 500 or 600 for. I have 2 of those. Then I still even have what's called a Layla. That's an older card. I use it on an older computer that I wrote at least 300 songs on. That Layla hit me for like 1100 back in the day. I have some Avid hardware as well, so I know a little bit about music. Get you a nice computer and get you a decent sound card, and then after that, you just need this essentials: a monitor, keyboard, mouse. You're gonna need some cabinets, some monitors, some speakers, monitors. When I said monitor the first time, I was talking about something to display your so you can have something to see the visual. Okay, so but you need some speakers, some monitors. You need some decent ones because you want to get as close to what you're hearing in your ear down on tape. That's why a lot of people like Yamaha near field monitors. A lot of times you don't want a lot of cosmetics in your speakers and your sound because you want to get what you're listening to. So when you put it down on tape, or if you play it back, or if you upload it and convert it to an MP4 file, you want it to sound like what you're hearing. You don't want any surprises in your music. Also, as far as a mixing console goes, if you're just starting out and you're just gonna be working on small projects, you and one other person, or just you and it could be a couple of people. Don't get it wrong. You do not have to have a mixer because every music app, every DAW, digital audio workstation, has a built-in automated mixing console. So your sound card, I don't care how many inputs you have. You can have 2 inputs in your sound card, or you can have 16 or more. But you're always going to have that master left and right out, and that's what you run to your monitors, your speakers. And so you really don't need a mixer right away because you could do everything with your automated mixer, your software. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, as far as mixing your stuff down, you could do that with your DAW as well. You can mix it down. You can save it almost in any format you like, but I would say save it in a wave. Even if you saved it in 32 because you want but if you want to put it on the CD, people don't know this, but there's a process called dithering. So if you do 32-bit, it still go dither down back to 16-bit. People like to record in a high frequency, 192 kilohertz or whatever. But again, sonically, the ear or the average ear can't hear that anyway. Believe me, I know what I'm saying. Okay, so again, if you want to do some recording, get those essentials. Get a decent running computer, preferably an Intel processor that has that internal clock that music software loves. And you need a good sound card, all right? Oh, on top of that, you got to have music software. You know that. And there's such things as plugins and effects for the software. But that's another class. This is just the essential pieces needed for recording. I hope that you enjoy what you heard. I hope that you channel in on our next show. And remember, we appreciate your business. If you need a computer built, or if you need help setting up your studio, just feel free to call Marcellus at 618-709-6763 at Detail Solutions Computers, www.detailsolutionscomputers.com. Again, we hope you enjoyed this show, and it's time to say peace.